Welcome in, everyone. Let me see. First time streaming to Instagram. Let me see if I can get the mobile video fixed up there. I think it's messed up sending my... I think it's like sending my desktop to Instagram, and I think it's kind of messed up. Let me see if I can get it to show the mobile camera style. Let's see. I'll do a time box here of 5 minutes. So I'm using Streamlabs. And nope, this part is like messed up. Bummer. So I think Streamlabs is making me pick, do I want to send the mobile screen to everyone or the desktop screen to everyone? I like can't mix and match for some reason. Hold on. Cannot toggle while live. Okay. All right, well, bummer on Instagram. Sorry about that, y'all. Maybe I'll figure out a way to fix that for next time. So what are we talking about today? Today, I want to show you a couple polls that I ran. So in a previous stream, I argued that in 2025, it's a good idea to learn Python. And one of the reasons for that is due to the explosion in AI. So tech is so back. You can see this video. I argued that you should still follow the traditional ladderly path, which will have you go HTML, then CSS, then JS, then React, then TypeScript, and then learn Python. Oh, actually learn SQL before that, SQL, and then learn Python, way down here, where some other people would say that you should start with Python. So I think both are on the table, but some of the reasons to prefer HTML first is because web is easier to break into. All right, and this has been my take. So I ran a poll to see if like other people agree with me, basically. So on LinkedIn, is breaking into AI harder than breaking into web development? And almost 3/4 of people, over 2/3 of people say yes, AI is harder than web development. And this makes a lot of sense if you're familiar with the AI roles like data science, machine learning, data engineering. So machine learning and data engineering are advanced, they're specializations of software engineering. And they involve sometimes advanced statistical knowledge, like machine learning will involve knowledge about regression and stuff like this. So data science will prefer a graduate degree. So these are barriers to entry. And the job families are more fragmented. So there's a lot, if you go to like Indeed.com, there's a lot of roles that say Python, but they're actually a bunch of different roles. There are a bunch of different roles. So here's like 60,000, whereas if you go like web developer, it's going to be fewer. It's going to be fewer, web developer. All right, now this is not quite accurate because when you have JavaScript, you're going to be qualified for more titles than just web developer. All right, so, and then by the time you get to TypeScript and so forth, it keeps going up. But it gets competitive with Python so that they're about even. It's not really obvious which you should pick. And so I like to go for web development because all of the things that I talked about in this video, you'll be able to make a portfolio. Even if you go into the data field, having a web portfolio of data projects actually makes you more appealing as a job candidate. You can do data visualizations and things like this. But there's problems with a LinkedIn poll. Here's a few problems. One, number of samples, only 26. On the one hand, this is enough to get some statistical signal, but on the other hand, you get a really good benefit from having more samples. Two, selection bias on the LinkedIn platform. So maybe these are just people on LinkedIn that are saying this. Maybe there's like some tendency of, we know that different social media platforms have platform effects. Like people tend to have groupthink at the platform level, basically. And so maybe these are people who are in my network on LinkedIn and they'll tend to agree with me, basically. That's a couple reasons. And then here's an interesting one. The third reason is the initial response bias. Whenever you have multiple choice in a survey, people will tend to pick that first one. So actually, no should be overrepresented according to that bias. So there's actually biases moving in multiple ways. Well, how can we reconcile some of this? Well, one thing we can do is just run the poll on multiple platforms, okay? So now, here's 14 votes on Twitter. And so you can add them up and get to 40 votes. And now you're over the T distribution, student T distribution, recommended sample count. A common rule of thumb is to have a sample size of at least 30 so that you can use T student distribution. Actually, if you read his paper, you can do less than 30. It's just like recommended because it starts to reflect a Z distribution. So it starts, you just get more reliable results. It's not a requirement, it's just a green flag. That's the right way to think about it. So anyway, if you merge this together, now we're at 40, so we have a more of a green flag here. And we can see the initial response bias, which we expect, is reflected in Twitter. So I inverted the order, okay? So here it's 69, here it's 71, okay? But the other thing that's striking is that across these two channels, the result is like really, really similar. So that even the initial response bias, if you put the whole 2.4 gap totally on the initial response bias, it's only a 2.4 difference, which is strikingly small, actually. So these are strikingly consistent results. So I'm very happy to take the average and say like 70%. So 30-70, or roughly 2 to 1, or you would say actually in excess of 2 to 1. And we can just take a more conservative interpretation, is which just saying like yes, more likely yes than no. It's harder to break into an AI role, not just according to me, but according to thousands and thousands of people. There will still be some bias in both of these networks, so this will be a result biased towards individuals in the tech market in the United States. And so yes, do feel free to contextualize this interpretation to the United States. And then if you live in some other country, you might ask the question like, are we super different than the United States? Then maybe take this result with a grain of salt. But I think this is like reinforces the idea. So I now have more confidence that I'm doing the right thing when I say, hey students, you wanted to break into tech, make a web portfolio, do the traditional big 4 projects. Do the big 4 projects, and then after this is done, then you add Python. And then you can add a data science project. And I'll just quickly mention the 5 projects that I called out in this video. I'll bring them up again. And so here are the 5 killer projects I mentioned. A data visualization project. So you can do a data visualization in React, and then you can replicate it into Python with a matplotlib or a Seaborn or something like that. So data visualization is going to be a great skill in any of those data families: data science, data engineering, data analyst, applied research, any of those data family skills. And it will be a nice bridge. If you learned web development first, you're going to have a mental model that transfers over into data visualization. So it's a nice bridge. In-context learning is pretty different. It doesn't have that nice bridge, but I think it is something that, if you're familiar with ChatGPT, is pretty intuitive at this point. So a year or two ago, this would have been a project that's not intuitive. And we can see that it's still not intuitive for some people. This is part of the barrier to entry. So we looked at the LinkedIn poll, we looked at the Twitter poll. Now let's look at my YouTube poll and ask a slightly different question. I asked, do you even know what Gen AI is? And half of people said yes and half of people said no. Now this was a very low sample size, but it actually goes together with our other polls. So if you imagine that data science and web development are equally hard to break into, then the question, is web development harder? It should be 50 yes, 50 no, because they're equal. So it should be equal people saying yes and no. So imagine that it's 50-50, but then imagine that half of people don't even know what Gen AI is. So those people are going to say, yes, web development's easier. Now you have a 75 to 25 ratio, and that's really close to the 70 to 30 ratio that we saw. So these polls actually go together, and this gives us another perspective on the same barrier to entry. Part of the barrier to entry is just that AI is just not intuitive. People just don't know about it. AI in the broad sense or Gen AI in the more narrow sense. But as ChatGPT grows in popularity, so you are going to get exposure to Gen AI in an AI-first development world. In 2025, Latterly is encouraging people to learn to code in an AI-first way, using Cursor IDE, using ChatGPT, something like that. So by the time that you get done with these, did I close my Excalibur? Oh, I think it's open over here. By the time that you get to the point of learning Python, you'll be very familiar with what is a large language model. So now you'll be familiar with LLM, ChatGPT, Gen AI. Okay, these are all overlapping categories. So ChatGPT is an application that uses a language model, and language models are one kind of generative AI. You can also do like image generation, right? Like Midjourney or Leonardo. You can also do audio generation. So ChatGPT in particular is text generation, but that's a kind of generative model. By the time you get down here, you're going to be familiar with it, okay? So this is another reason that this order still makes sense. Still makes sense. We have like many independent reasons at this point. Another reason this order still makes sense is because by the time you get ready to learn Python, you should be on the yes side of this yes-no, which means that for you, the barrier to entry will be much lower by that time, once you have a familiar mental model, and you'll be ready to execute in context learning. It won't be too confusing what that is. Basically, this is a prepared prompt. So we care about prompt engineering with generative AI, and one of the best ways to get a high quality result is to use multi-shot prompting. In context learning uses those shots to tell the language model the expected kind of result. And if that doesn't make sense now, that's fine. It should make sense by the time you get here after these steps. And so then you can just basically implement this in-context learning project, which is like, hey, let me make a ChatGPT clone, kind of, and maybe train it to give answers based on my expertise, okay? And then an EDA and a synthetic EDA, or using a blog. So by the time you get down here, you've built a blog. That's going to be one of the portfolio projects. You've built a blog that has your own content in there. And you can even collect Google Analytics about the kinds of blog articles that users care about. And then once you have those Google Analytics data, you can do an exploratory data analysis. That's an EDA. You can do this on your real blog and understand, you will gain insights. This is what data analysts do. You will be able to understand what kind of blog articles do my website visitors like to read and what do they not like to read, which could potentially inform the next article that you create if you're trying to drive traffic. Synthetic EDA is you're doing the same analysis but with made up data. So it proves that you can do the analysis, although it's like more of a play pretend project, but it's still a useful portfolio piece in the absence of real data. And then the next article recommendation system. So with the EDA, exploratory data analysis, I'm taking insights and then I'm giving it to a human, and then the human can go, okay, based on this, I'm going to write this next article. But with the next article recommendation system, I'm taking those insights and automatically sending it to a program that says, based on this data, let's recommend this article to that website viewer. It's the one that they're probably going to spend more time reading, or they'll give it a thumbs up. It's the article that they are going to like based on our data analysis. So it's like a step further than the offline data analysis. It's like bringing the data analysis online and making it real time for the user. Those are some killer projects. You don't need to do all these. You could do any one of these, and you can actually land a job without doing any of these. But this is that extra mile. If you really want to stand out in 2025, I think these are killer projects that'll help. Okay? So basically, that is picking up on our previous stream to harden the Latterly educational program. And now, along with that, now that we have this like new great intent, we need to actually go update the blog, the Latterly blog. So there's some other ways that the Latterly blog is out of date. For example, we're still talking about hired.com. If you go to hired.com today, they were bought. They were bought by LHH. And then basically, if you look into LHH, it's just, I can't recommend it. It's not as good as the Hired platform used to be. So where's some jobs? Search open jobs. So let's see if I can find software engineering jobs. Like where is software? Is it under engineering and construction? I hope it's not merged in there. IT and digital. So there's only like 30 jobs on this platform now. And then Hired.com previously offered certifications that you could take. And if you pass them, it'll help you stand out to employers. LHH is not providing that technology today. I don't know if they intend to bring it back later. Maybe they're working on it or something. And these jobs are not particularly high quality. The senior.net, okay, that's cool. Senior.net is cool. But a lot of these, at least last time I worked, are contract. Treasury system analyst. Yeah, contractor, permanent, contract to hire. So a lot of these are contract, right? Maybe it's half and half. There's a bunch of permanent as well, contract, permanent. So it's a small pool of jobs, and they're not particularly high quality jobs, like $30 to $50 an hour. There are some people that's going to be a match for, but we can do better. We can do better. So I don't know that it's a good use of your time to even use this site at all. All right, so we're going to deprecate the solution. And in my previous video, when I did the job market analysis, I leaned on true-up data, which is really, really good. And it's broad reaching. You can see over 200,000 jobs as opposed to 30 jobs. And they have a job board. And I think it's pretty good. So I'm going to recommend them instead of Hired.com. Okay? Then job families and data science. We're going to do a blog article. Basically that video that I showed you, turn it into a blog article. Okay? And AUTA changed names. So in the recommended job boards, these are the ones that were recommended. Hired.com, we're deprecating that, and then AUTA changed its name, right? And I want to pull Underdog. I had no success with Underdog personally. In my previous job search in 2024, I don't think I got a single interview for them. So AUTA is now called Welcome to the Jungle. I don't know why they rebranded to that name. I hope it was an evidence-based decision, but I believe the technology is. Let's see if they migrated my account. Oh, it still said sign into AUTA. We're building a fantastic employer brand offering to share with you soon. Okay, a bold look. Okay, the same experience you know and love. This actually makes me happy. So they changed the brand name, but yeah, the UI, this is how it's looked in the past. So I'm happy to continue recommending this this tool. Okay, so let's dive in. So I'm going to grab this issue here, bring up cursor. And yeah. I want to go over to the blog. Top job boards. Let me get out of PowerShell. Okay, the purpose of this guide is to maximize the performance of your job search as a software engineer. This guide is provided by John. That's fine. We can get rid of that. This article summarizes the highlights of a detailed data analysis on the topic. Okay, and so now it will be like this article. This list was originally built based on insights from a data analysis by John Vanderveer. Analyzing 75 plus job boards. Yeah. I think if people want to see the spreadsheet, then I can just link it in the YouTube video description. Hey, my name is John. I'm a software engineer with about 10 years. Okay, so here's the video. And then, yeah, the spreadsheet is here anyway. So it's already linked here. So if people want to look at that spreadsheet, they can still go to that. But I'll save the, I'll make the blog article more concise by getting rid of that. The list, this list was originally built on insights from a data analysis by John Vanderveer of 75 plus job boards. Okay. It has since been continuously updated and refined, continuously updated for various reasons. See GitHub for the file change log. So maybe I'll grab the GitHub link. We'll go to Latterly. It's under app blog. It has since been continuously updated for reasons, for various reasons. Visible here in the GitHub change log. Okay, so we're going to get rid of hired.com. LinkedIn jobs is number 1, for sure. Indeed is number 2, for sure. Interviewing, like these are great. Interviewing.io is number 3. Auto, will change the name in a minute. Chat, drop a comment if you have another job board that you recommend above these. Okay, let me get the link to TrueUp. True Up with a capital U. It looks like that's how they stylize. Okay. John's approach focuses on job boards that offer one-click or easy apply options as well as bulk apply features. These criteria are designed to maximize a candidate's efficiency and exposure to potential employers. Yeah, I think that's fine. This is called Welcome to the Jungle. Every time I hear that, the song is going to play. Welcome to the jungle. It's amazing they got that domain, to be honest with you. Can I just go welcome to the jungle.com? Why not? We'll do the US version. Why not? And then, do they have spaces? Welcome to the jungle. How do they stylize the name? Go to dashboard. It looks like it has spaces. Welcome to the jungle. I love it, dude. I actually love it, to be honest with you. And I want to bring True Up actually over and above Well Found. I'll even put them above Auto. TrueUp does some cool stuff. They have a gap analysis feature and an AI draft intro feature. Let's see if I can show this. Okay. Yeah. So You see gap analysis and draft intro. Isn't that really cool? And cues to ask them. AI powered features. Draft intro. Okay, so we love that. I think that's good. That's a good enough call out. Here I'm going to say this is 119.25. For individuals with a high time value, services like the ladders and Consulting offer an apply for me service, albeit at a cost. This is especially useful. I'm going to call this additional application. So I'll call this non-board, non-job board, non-board what should I call this section? Additional job search tools. One that I like is use massive. This section lists tools that can improve your results per time spent. Though they are not job boards and the jobs they find may be repeated on existing job boards. This section lists tools that can improve your results per time. I think that's fine, though they're not job boards, okay? So one is going to be use massive, a tool that can help you apply to use AI to rapidly search for jobs and apply to them. Another is simplified jobs. Did I get that? Oh, this is it. Simplified jobs. Okay, so then the ladders is actually different, and there's another one, reverse recruiting. Let's see if I can find this thing again. Was it this? Nope. Okay. All right, well, if I find it, I'll add it later. So, right. I guess that's what I want to suggest for now. Note that many job titles have spelling variants. Consult Google Trends to select the recommended variant for your resume, LinkedIn profile, and other. Yeah, cool. So here's a bunch of titles. Front-end developer, full-stack developer, UI, UX, yep, software developer, React, Angular, Vue. Also backend, like why not backend, right? Yeah. So let's look for backend developer versus back-end developer and back-end developer. I think it's going to be all one word, yeah? Back-end, all one word, yeah. Cool, cool, cool. All one word, great. Front-end developer, and is, wait. Front-end developer, front-end developer, front-end developer. It's all one word, yeah. Front-end developer, back-end developer, full-stack developer. I want to mention that you can swap out engineer for like all of these. In all of these titles, you can also search for engineer instead of developer, or like in addition to. So there are 20,000 jobs here. I guess it's worth mentioning. This is called machine lubricant. Yeah, I'm not gonna mention this. Should I mention sales engineer? Utilize CAD software. This doesn't seem like a useful thing to search for. $3,000 jobs. I just don't know if I care. 3,000 jobs. In addition to searching by title, you can also search by skill set. Here is a prepared Indeed.com search for the following skills. I'll go ahead and prepare it. So here I will do HTML or CSS or JavaScript or TypeScript or SQL or React or Vue or Angular. Bam, over 100K, there you go. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript, SQL, React, Vue, Angular. If you specialize further, you can qualify for other titles. The main as you add skills, let's see, full stack basics laterally recommends learning Python. Here are some other specializations that you can learn beyond full stack basics and Python. After learning full stack basics through the big 4 projects, laterally recommends learning Python. Here are some other titles you can qualify for once you have once SQL and Python are added to your skill set. Okay, data engineer, data analyst, data scientist. Machine learning engineer. AI engineer. Researcher. Applied scientist. Business analyst. Yeah, almost no one is called like, yeah. I guess I'll mention AI trainer, but I really don't recommend this job, but all right. Data engineer, data analyst. Oh, another is database administrator, database architect. That's going to be tough to get, but fine, we'll mention the title. 1, 2. I don't really want to mention research engineer. I think member of technical staff is a cool title. Oh, but only 100 plus jobs. What? I thought it was a lot more than that. Matters if you put those double quotes. Research scientist, I think, is going to be a good one. Whatever, I'm going to mention it anyway. Love So Magne, what's up? Thanks for being here. Front-end developer, back-end, full stack, UI, UX. Yeah. Is anyone using this title? almost no one. So I guess I should mention sales engineer if I'm going to mention UI UX. Oh, hello. Yeah, Python developer is a big one. And then what about like Django developer? Nine. Okay, not worth mentioning. Well, here's UI UX developer. Why did it show like nobody? UI developer, UX developer, UI UX developer, software developer, web developer, or web application developer. I guess here's one. So I guess they do say that sometimes. All right, fine. Fine. Yeah, you can basically double your job title exposure. I feel like I'm still missing some. Machine learning. That's fine. Do you capitalize the S in cybersec? Yeah, so saying cybersecurity gets a lot more than cybersec. Hey, was thinking of you the other day. What up, Blaze Labs? What were you thinking? Thanks for being here. So they're both popular. That's crazy. They're almost straight up tied. Remember you were doing something with leak code. Yep. Yeah, that's still in progress. Latterly recommends continuous skill development while concurrent with the job search. Yep, that's true. You can learn a specialization after obtaining an entry-level role, or you can potentially start to specialize even while you are on the entry-level role job search. You can learn a specialization after obtaining an entry-level role, or you can even start to specialize yeah. This just feels like an unnecessary sentence, huh? Latterly recommends continuous skill development concurrent with the job search. Yep. Let's move that down to the takeaway, actually. John recommends using 3 to 10 job boards. Let's not say that. John recommends using the above specified job boards and tools. And let's change that to latterly.io. Recommends using the above specified job boards and tools to strike the right balance in your job recommends using the above specified job boards and tools to quickly access a large number of relevant job opportunities. Applying to 50 to 100 positions per week using these platforms can significantly enhance your job search effectiveness. I really like more than 50. So long story short, I want to improve my Haitian Creole. I want to improve my Haitian Creole by solving leak code questions. That's interesting. I know this is a lot at once. What are you working on now? I'm improving the job board recommendations because Hired.com was purchased and it's no longer good. You can also reduce the number of applications you submit if you are only passively looking and or being highly selective. Okay, I think this is better. So you can find the Discord at latterly.io. I think the link is in the bio, maybe it's not, but latterly.io under the community dropdown. Okay, let's see. Anything else to do with this article? No, I think the only thing is like I want to point at the LinkedIn messaging template. Remember that applying without social networking constitutes low effort applications, a low effort application. Remember to apply in conjunction. Remember to apply with social networking. Applying without social networking constitutes a low effort application, and then I can link over to this. Applying without social networking constitutes a low effort application which can reduce your application to interview ratio by 30x. Do I not have my messaging template? Okay. Well, that's where the messaging stuff comes in. So let's work on that. Social networking scripts. Article number 17. 17. I think we can wipe out the Sentry project. We don't really use that. Social networking scripts. Whoa. Yeah, this is also out of date though. Okay. I just want to close all these. Can I not close all these? Mark as completed. Archived previous curriculum. Previously housed latterly.io's curriculum. Bro, how do you spell curriculum? Curriculum. Okay, so we're archiving this. Cool. I want this networking scripts. I don't know that I'm going to keep this file. I think I'm going to turn it into a blog article. But as a first step, I'll just copy it over. Networking scripts, endorsed community, and then the other is the curriculum file. Curriculum file. I guess I'm spelling that right, but it looks weird.